Raceworld from Hockenheim, and we have great guests, Mark, on the table. Can you explain?
Yes, Bert, good afternoon. Tom Kristensen, now famous as 6 times Le Mans winner, and my friend Peter Dumbreck here from Scotland. Interesting parallel careers, both you guys. You were both Japanese Formula 3 champions, both Le Mans racers, and now racing against each other in the DTM. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So Tom, let's start with you. How's it going today here in Hockenheim? Final race of the year for DTM. You've had one win this year, your first DTM win, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, I really, let's say, enjoyed the stress and the hard work of DTM. It has been a very good season, obviously, with Audi coming back. It was really nice to be part of that. And going into the last race, we're even leading the manufacturer's title after Ekström won in Brünn, won the championship. But okay, today it started really well. I was fastest in the free practice this morning and took it on well into qualifying and being fastest from most of the session. Parfait beat me midway by 5 thousandths or something. But I was still very confident, and I thought today is the day. Maybe I can fight and do my first pole. But in Super Pole we didn't change anything. Like the 3 runs I had in qualify, all very, very, very good runs within 2 tenths. And would if I've done close to that, it would easily have been pole. But obviously a bad excuse. Now I'm starting 8th. The car was really sliding, and it was difficult for me to handle the kind of Super Pole. And it was it's a lot of frustration, which quite honestly comes out when you go out for pole and you go slower through the corners and you have more oversteer and you end up in 8th.
Yeah, Peter, you're starting on the same row tomorrow as Tom. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Now, like Tom, you've had a win. You had a win in 2001 with Mercedes. You're with Opel now, and this Opel program must be getting close to win now in the next few months.
Well, yeah, I'd like to think so. But sadly, this is the last race for this year, so we've got one more chance. It's going to be very tough because there's only 2 Opels in the top 10, myself and Marcel Fassler. For me, qualifying again, pretty similar to Tom really. I had a good run. After the second set of tyres I was 4th. I dropped down to 6th after the last set, and then in the Super Pole lap I had a big mistake at the first lap. I think that the track started to lose grip, to be honest with you, because you saw everyone who was out later on beginning to make mistakes and slide around some more, so that's no excuse. I think I also had it very within me to be in the top 4, but I'm starting 7th, and I hope I can just get through the first lap safe and get some good pit stops and find the podium.
One question people are always asking us now is, if we can ask this for you, Peter, because you were here last year, is there any difference in driving the four-wheel drive, four-door saloons we drive today against last year's coupes? Do they feel different?
They're slightly different. From the car point of view, they're 10 centimeters longer now than they were last year. But I think it's a faster car, that's for sure. Our lap times this year are faster than last year's, and I think it's also to show that the car itself, the technology is moving on all the time. We're getting faster and faster, better tyres, better engine, better car, and essentially it's the same. The driving position, the driving style is all the same every year. It's just the car itself gets better.
Now you were pushing very hard there into the first corner. You were right off the track. Did that compromise your lap then?
That cost me 3 tenths, that little mistake. I was just out. That's the thing.
It looked good. Yeah.
Spectacular, yeah.
The thing is with Super Pole is obviously you go out there and you're trying to get pole, and you want to show your team that you're capable of it. And I just gave it that little bit extra through the first corner compared to my best lap, and it was just that bit too much. I got onto that green carpeted surface, which I've never seen on a racetrack before, a bit of carpet, but here at Hockenheim they've put carpet on the outside of the first corner, which I think was still slightly wet as well, and it was very slippy.
But the rest of the lap from where we were sitting in the commentary box looked absolutely perfect. But
yeah, I think the middle sector was okay, but the last sector again, I lost a bit of time through right in the last 2 corners, which I think made the difference between me out qualifying my teammate Marcel and you know, being in 7th, but I think, you know, there's only 2 Opals in the top 10. We're both right together, and I think we've got to be happy with what we've got.
So Tom, presumably you're sitting somewhere watching this going on, either before you go.
Sitting in my car.
Yeah, and they give you a monitor so you can see what he's doing, or?
Yeah, we have monitors like you come a laptop which is coming up in front of us. So we first see when we come in for qualifying, we have these few minutes, and if like me, I went out second last. So I both have the times from the qualifying. Nice slide on the carpet.
I had to keep the power on there. I thought I'm going to lose too much otherwise, so I had to take the risk and keep the power flat.
Do you know it already? Hey, this is not good.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So how you continue then in your mind?
Well, you continue by trying to drive even faster, but sadly sometimes that makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Now here's the guy you've all got to beat tomorrow, of course, Martin Tomczyk. Great performance by him, huh?
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's second time he's on pole this year, and there's no doubt that Martin, from being with Audi for these years in the DTM with the Up Sports line, he has done really well, especially over 1 lap. But this year he's also shown some really strong race performance. I know that myself. I either have had him right behind me or I've been right behind him. But being his second pole of the year, it's you can only say well done, hats off, and for us, try to do it better next time.
Is driving the Super Pole a speciality for a driver? Is it something else than?
Yeah, maybe, but then for me, then it's not a specialty. Then it's a nightmare.
I mean,
but for sure, Super Pole is good. But it's tired. You did it in go-kart when you were young, but it is certainly good because you need to get everything on a point in 1 lap. And I think all the drivers come through go-kart in one or the other, and there you do it. You do it as well, and it's nice. I think it's spectacular. But because of the way the one make tire we have from Dunlop, I mean, the cars are really set up to deliver in 1 lap, and that's for sure something that you have to learn when you are in DTM. Also in qualifying, it's 1 lap. You have 3 runs, but it's only 1 lap.
So you both drove the sports cars. You were American Le Mans. What's the difference between the sports cars and this, roughly, for the audience?
Well, the Mercedes it felt very big. It felt like driving a truck. It just was such a big car, so much power, and you really had to treat it with a lot of respect.
And it was diving and
it did move a lot, which really only showed up at in Le Mans, because we did a lot of testing in this car prior to that, and we were reaching 200 miles an hour in tests every lap, and there was never this problem. But we were testing in places that were maybe a bit too smooth, because as we got onto the road surface of Le Mans, it showed up that we had this problem with the car, and that led to a couple of crashes.
Yeah. And Tom, you're a Le Mans connoisseur, and Mark will talk you into that, because it's a great performance you did this year. You did magnificent, choosing the right car, doing the best job. Or was just luck winning Le Mans this year? I mean,
there was a lot of questions there, but I mean the one you really hit me with is if it's just luck. No, it's depending on a lot of things, a lot of people, but certainly my luck has been to be with the right people and the right cars, and obviously with my years mainly with Audi, and the people from Joest in my earlier days have proved to be really worth it, and it has been obviously very good to be a part of a winning team at Le Mans for so many years and consecutive.
But is your extra ability that you can switch quite quick to other teams and other people, other cars, is that one of your talents, big talents as well? I mean, I've seen you racing in every kind of car. You were always quick and one of the best. Is that a special ability?
Thank you. No, it's about to be in the. For sure, you have to be with the right cars at the right times. I mean, it's for sure this year to come with the DTM with an Audi A4 when they come. It's also good. It's the best car of this season. So I'm driving it, and okay, I didn't win the championship, but nobody expected that. But of course, you always try to do the best you can. But at Le Mans this year with Audi Sport Japan Team Go, it was a private team again. So after being with the manufacturers for some years, after my very first visit to Le Mans with a private Porsche with the Joest, it was nice again to be in a one-car team, and this was really a special atmosphere. I mean, from Mr. Go and to all his mechanics, they were really good, and they were really, let's say, had a huge passion in trying to win this race. And being a part of that, for sure, to come back to your question, you need a little bit of luck. But it only happens when you're in the right circumstances and you push for the right thing. Then this luck arrives, for sure. But of course, you can say there's many times in the race this year we had a lot of competition with Audi Sport Velox and champion from America. There was a lot of fights at the very front, but I mean, you can also say, was it luck? We had fire in it 3 hours before the end. We had a big fire in the car, or I think that was bad luck. But you can also say it was lucky that the fire went out and we could continue on winning. So Le Mans is just such a long race, and I am very fortunate to have the success I've had there with all these partners. And I can say for sure, I remember very much that day in '99. I was just about to step in the Schnitzer BMW, and I was ready. JJ was coming in the pit lane like 30 seconds later when we all hear this warm about Peter.
Yeah, so we have to take a short break, guys. We are back soon after the commercial messages. See you soon. Okay, tot zo.
Welcome back to Race World. Bert Davies with me. I'm Mark Coe. We have Peter Dumbreck and Tom Kristensen as our guests from the DTM. Just before the break, we were talking about Le Mans and whether it's luck at Le Mans or not. Peter, Tom,
I was lucky at Le Mans.
Tom was there when you had the big accident. Would you like to get back to Le Mans one day?
Yeah, I don't. You know, that's the thing about it. I don't remember any of the crash, so yeah, I would quite happily go back there. It's not a big thing for me, and it's just like after my latest little shunt in Zandvoort. I had no problem
We
getting...
have pictures of that later in the program.
I had no problem getting back in the car after that. You know, I've stepped out of 2 fairly large crashes now, and you know, for my head, it's kind of like, well, I know how to deal with it, and I know that if your time is up, your time is up, and it wasn't. So you know, I survived.
Patrick Huisman, your good friend, told me when I was doing the commentary with him about Zandvoort when you had the crash. He said, "This guy is a tough guy. He's always, when we did skiing or biking or whatever, he's always on top of that. He's a top sportsman. And does it help when you have a big crash and you're super fit? I mean."
I'm sure it does, because
you survived too already. I mean, and you're top fit.
Yeah, I don't have much fat on me. I keep, you know, I keep quite trim. So it's got to help, and you know.
That's a difficult question, but
I think
people think like that.
To recover from these kind of things, because you know, I stepped out of the car both times. I had nothing broken. But there was a bit of internal stuff going on, and I still feel a little bit from my Zandvoort one. But these things, they pass, and you recover quite quickly from
You
that.
agree on that, Tom?
Yeah,
top fit will save you.
No, for sure. I mean, racing, it's surely tough. You need to be fit. You need to be fit to drive a DTM car. 1 hour of stress, and the heat in the car. I mean, you need to be fit nowadays. I mean, the cars, the technology, the engineers, they get, even the next day they get better ideas, and it's tough to keep the lap times down and to keep it on track. So it's motorsport is certainly also very much a sport like you need engine and technologies.
Like Olympic Games.
Like Olympic Games, but for sure here for me it's definitely a sport.
Now, looking back at your careers, both of you, we mentioned earlier, raced in Japan. Is this because that was the only opportunity at the time? You felt that would help your careers, Peter?
For me, yeah. I mean, I got to the end of '97, and I was with Paul Stewart Racing in England, racing Formula 3. I was third in that championship, and I kind of hit a bit of a brick wall because I had no money left. And in that situation, you're paying your own budget, or someone is, and so I had not enough money to carry on in Britain. One of my only options was Japan, and I was fortunate enough to get the Tom's seat, which is the sought after one. That's the one that generally you can go over and win the championship with.
You almost got my apartment, didn't you?
In fact, I did. Yeah, I did have your apartment. Come to think, in fact, I found some of his clothes in the cupboard.
Was this the same for you, Tom?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I had the luck to drive for Volkswagen Motorsport in Formula 3 in '91. That was my break. I won the championship. It was a year after Michael Schumacher, but I think it was a little bit too early because there was not a lot of support of me to help me into other things. Being a Dane, of course, was not easy. I didn't have any budget, and talking to the 3,000 teams, I needed a kind of budget. But in Macau, the Formula 3 race at Macau, and the following week at Fuji, I got Toyota interested, and I went to Japan and stayed there for 5 seasons, and I certainly learned a lot. I think you learn to mature as a racing driver in Japan.
You learn about life.
You learn about life. You need to get organized in terms of tell you the things what you would like about the car, and you need to work hard on that. And you have a lot of time in between to think about life as well.
Yeah.
But I think everything matures as a racing driver to be very thankful for what we have.
Was it a lonely life? Sometimes.
Not necessarily, but it was not necessarily. But it depends which team you drove for. But Tom's team was a quite international team,
Yeah.
and I would say the culture there was towards European, and they would understand, let's say, our needs sometimes. But you will learn to appreciate being a professional racing driver, and the situation I have today, being with Audi. It's something I can appreciate very well after being some years in Japan.
Do you see the rest of your career with Audi now? Are you at that stage, or?
It depends. I mean, some people sometimes call me older, but I think I'm in the middle. I mean, you have, I think, same as Peter. He's certainly younger than me, but you have the young hotshots like Ekström and Parfit, and now you see us sort of being soon maybe the older generation. So it depends how many years. But if you ask me, quite frankly, yes. I mean, being with Audi is really where I want to finish my career, and I hope they will keep me for some years to come, so I can learn on the benefits I've tried to learn this year.
Peter, you be of Opel next year?
I hope so. That's my number one priority, but at the moment it's a little bit mixed up. There's still some discussions to go on, and I'm optimistic though, and I've got a great backer in Valvoline. You know, they back the team and myself, so I hope that you'll see me in an Opel next year, and I hope that the car will be just that little bit better than it is this year, that we can start winning races, because I think that's an important thing for us.
Now, you're both family men, you both race for factory teams, and you have big commitments with sponsors. How do you get time for everything, fit everything in?
Well, I've got quite a nice life, you know. It's not too bad. I've got to be honest there. I do enjoy life, and DTM, there's only 10 races in the year. We're not allowed to have that much testing, so it means we're not away, you know, from home too much. I live near Oxford in England, and my wife goes to work every day. I do things in the house. I go training. I generally in the summer I'm doing sports every day. So, you know, it's the dream life, I think.
And you, Tom, you have children, of course, and
Yeah,
son and a daughter.
I have one of each. Yeah. And they are all here at the weekend. And actually, it makes me think. I don't know exactly where Oliver is now, because I'm supposed to take care of him. But I hope he's looking at this lawnmower race at the other side, and I hope I'll find him after
with
this.
a beer.
Maybe
I'm not that old, okay?
maybe we'll encourage him to cut the grass at home. Huh?
It's amazing. All these people are already on Saturday on the DTM. It's amazing.
Yeah.
The audience.
It's
Look
going
at
strength to strength. You know, DTM is definitely the place where manufacturers have to be, because you can see yourself. There's so many people here. There's 65,000 pre-event sales for tomorrow. So
Here we see the result of the grid positions for tomorrow. So you both are there.
Together on row 4.
But then we have some other pictures from Zandvoort, and that was.
I can't imagine what they might be.
You have seen it, huh?
No.
What happened there? Because everybody was in shock when it happened.
Well, it was a strange one.
That's
First-
another one.
Yeah, it's another strange situation. Paffett is in the pits. You're coming on the straight.
Yeah, I did everything like I did every other lap. I was on new tires. It should have been easily flat, like it was every other lap. I turned in. The car didn't go. I gave it a little bit more steering, and I just didn't make it round and hit the wall on the exit.
Somebody said something broke on the car, but that was not the answer. Eh?
To be honest, I don't know, but
Tire.
from the data, it doesn't look like it.
And we have a red flag in the race. Were you conscious at the time? Or
Was I confused?
nee,
You mean, did I have a sore head?
nee, you were
Concussed?
concussed. Yeah, that's the word. Sorry.
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't knocked out at all. I was awake right through it. I remember the big hit into the wall and just getting ready for it, getting myself nice and tight and small down in the car. And then as I was rolling over, I was aware that there's a lot of dirt coming in. Therefore, the roof and the windscreen were gone. And then it stopped on its wheels, except there was no wheels. And then I thought, okay, I better get out. But then the safety crew arrived very quickly. And they said, okay, stay in and don't move until the doctor gets here. And that's why I took some time getting out of the car.
The doctor asked your name and something like that. Where you're from?
Yeah,
Something like that, eh?
Yeah, things, all kinds of random questions. But I was a little bit lightheaded, but generally I was okay.
Well, glad you're here.
Yeah.
I am.
Once I knew you were okay, they showed it again, of course, as we do.
Yeah.
That was a big hit, Peter, wasn't it? Yeah.
And Tom, you had a big one, of course, sometimes. But not like him, eh?
I can't beat Peter on these ones, and I hope I won't never do it. But surely, these are very spectacular, and he chose.
It shows us how safe the car is, eh?
Yeah. I mean,
Basically, that's the good news.
the car looks like it's been blown up by a bomb, but the actual safety cell and the structure has survived very well there. I had no hit on me at all, so I was pretty much fine.
And again, what we saw was it was not just your team, but everybody was concerned and interested. It's a big family, the DTM. You guys, we're all in the same family. And this is what's so nice.
It's quite heartening that that everyone, all the texts and all the phone calls I got afterwards, and people, saying they're glad I was okay. But I don't see it like that. I kind of just see it. Oh, I had a bit of a shunt. I've walked away from it. Cool, no problem. And I always expected to be okay.
We are more or less at the end of this program. We can ask Tom, what about Le Mans 2005? You there?
I certainly hope so. That for sure. In my heart, it has my highest priority to be there next year, and certainly I hope I'll be there with Audi.
Okay.
Maybe.
So guys, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Tom, thank you very much.
Okay.